Woo! We are doing good today.
Cheers to that.
Cheers to that. Kate lives in North Carolina, and I came to visit her on my travels to DC. I'm taking a little vacation right now. Just excited to be with Kate and to really talk about Herp A Derp and our experiences as well. It's been amazing. Kate actually has really helped me a lot with the podcast in terms of the behind the scenes and how we have really grown into this idea as well. We really have, because we had the idea to do this, and now...
And she's the only one that actually pulled it off, so...
Hey, you're still a big inspiration into this podcast, too, because we're standing for herpes, like what we have, and also just, really taking in, what it is and to try to make light of it and such. It's such a big thing to do, and I can't definitely do that on my own, so I'm very happy to have a friend like you to really help me with that. Thanks,
so
Kate.
Sweet.
Yeah, no, of course. Never forget those friends who are there for you. Absolutely. And yeah, we're just kind of doing a video cast, having a conversation about our experiences, and we are in North Carolina, which thankfully where Kate is, she was not affected by Hurricane Florence.
Yay.
So, which is awesome. I'm very thankful for that, and the ones who I knew that were affected by the hurricane, I'm glad that everyone is safe and that hurricane season is over. Thank God, because hurricane season has definitely escalated into a much bigger level. I was listening to NPR, and they were talking about how weather stations are, weather monitoring systems are paying more attention to how they actually monitor storms, too.
Yeah.
How they need to recategorize everything about a storm just because it's become more severe over the years, which, climate change, for those who didn't really think about that, I should say. Right?
Fake news.
Where's the fake news?
God, telling me lies about climate change now.
Oh, the humidity.
The humidity?
I meant the humility.
Well, that too, but the humidity.
So much. It's just...
Oh, God.
Ugh.
Definitely big thing that is affecting us, and we can't, tread lightly on it.
Not at all. Not at all. And it's something that has to be talked about, like herpes has to be talked about, because not many people really talk about it. It's such a stigmatized disease, virus, that many people, it's honestly a really hard time and a hard concept for people to get over, which is interesting to me because I actually had my OBGYN appointment earlier, actually yesterday, and we talked about this, how it was just so, when someone gets the news in the doctor's office, and I admit that I had this reaction too, that I literally thought my sex life was over. I was just like, there's no way that I'm able to do anything in my life, have a fulfilling love life, with this stopping me. And she had brought up that it doesn't define you. It's something we have. Yes, it's for life, but it doesn't affect you much more than it already has with the outbreak, which is, in a way, great how it can stay dormant, inside us and not really come out. And I have type 1, that it only occurs once or another time in my life. But to really kind of put that in perspective, it's just it doesn't define you and who you are, and the fact that it doesn't really affect too much of your health, even though I have taken to different dietary standards, because I believe having less inflammatory foods has really helped me with that, by doing the keto diet, which has been really great. Been trying to avoid tomatoes, but...
Oh, I love tomatoes.
I know, I love tomatoes too, but for some reason it just kind of makes me feel different in some way. But no, it's just an important subject to highlight, to really talk about it, break the stigma on this, because in a way, it is a big deal and that is a part of our lives, but at the same time, it does not really affect us too much down the road either, as I had talked about in one of my recent podcasts as well. So.
Yeah, so when I found out, it was a terrifying thing. Incredibly so. And I think I sat in my car and cried to my mother for a good 10 minutes because I was like, I don't know how this happened. I don't know when it happened and how long I've had it for. Because, like, the outbreak happened and I was just like, fuck. So, it was an interesting experience to learn. And I mean, I don't wish it upon anyone, but it has definitely helped me grow as a person and knowing myself and being more confident in myself, though there is a time that you go through and you get very down on yourself and you get very emotional about it because, as you said, like, you know, you don't think anyone's going to love you with that knowledge in mind. And I think I got very lucky at the time, so.
Lucky in terms of?
So, the guy that I was sleeping with at the time, he wasn't necessarily happy about what I told him, but he didn't just up and decide that I wasn't worthy of his time or his affection, or he stuck with me, and he's still actually sticking with me, which I'm extremely thankful for. So, it's definitely been a learning experience, not only for myself, but for my partner as well, and especially having to be as in communication and in sync with each other, because I want him to be safe, because, like, yeah, and he didn't test positive for it, so it was really lucky. And yeah, it's you just have to communicate well, and you just have to be open, honest, and explain, you know, what you know. And, you know, if more people knew more about the subject, I don't think they would necessarily be as timid or, I guess, joking about it either. Because
completely agree.
Those bar jokes. Can I have a sip of your drink? Sure. My herpes isn't contagious.
No.
I was like, oh, alright, sure.
Yeah, oh gosh, it's just like the jokes, like, and, well, the fact, first of all, like, you're so brave, like, for telling him, and also for him being so receptive to it and to be with you during this too. That's so strong, and that's so amazing to have that type of relationship that, yes, like, you have this, but also I'm going to be with you, like, because I like you for who you are, and that's what it ultimately comes down to. It's just herpes does not define who you are, and I can't stress that enough. And then also talking about the jokes is, my rule of thumb is, if you don't have it, you can't make a joke about it, because
Yeah.
there's no way, and it's so just disrespectful in that sense, just to not fully understand what people are going through. And we see this time and time again in the media and TV shows, and just thinking that they can make fun of it when really they're not the ones just put in their place unless they have it. So,
and of course, you never want to be the person at the bar that's like, yeah, well, mine is.
Right, well, I mean, like in my...
coming out to an entire group of people is it's very hard.
Oh,
so...
absolutely, like, and there's sometimes in those situations where you have to tell a group of people or have to be very vocal about it, it is hard to do, but at the same time, you're doing the right thing to make the awareness happen, because it is so common, and many people do not realize how common they are because they feel so alone in terms of how they feel, and to once you break away from the loneliness and really realize how common this is, it puts you in a whole new light, which is something that we have always wanted to talk about and to really bring to light too, because you are not alone. You're not alone. There's so many people who have it. So,
you know what I never understood?
what?
You know those movie scenes where the female character is like, oh, I've got a cold sore coming on. I feel it. Like, that in itself is the herpes virus. Like, I don't understand how it's become such, like, a thing where, like, it's a negative thing, you know?
Oh, totally. And I feel like we're kind of, like, taught to, of course, by nature, to always protect ourselves from something, but to kind of get to that level, it really does make me wonder, too, because it's just like, oh, cold sore's coming, like,
don't kiss me, don't look at me.
Yeah, never, don't look anymore, like, kind of thing. It's just kind of like, you know, if you have it, like, you're going to take care of it and, you know, really bring to what it needs to be. And to treat it and to treat yourself. Like, treat your body as a temple. Like, especially, that is one saying that has really brought to light since I had my diagnosis, too, is just how valuable and important how our body is. And to not, just really bring it to light. I've told family, but I told them, just like I tell listeners, is to take their time and that to listen when you're ready. Like, to really be fully accepting of what herpes is, what we have, and to understand this type of perspective and positive perspective, because not many people are very open to it because they really want to stay in their own rut and who they are and themselves. But again, to really just, but long story short, my parents or some of my family has not listened to this yet. And again, when you do listen and when you do see this and take the time to listen, again, time and time again, is to take your time and to be ready for it.
It's a difficult subject to broach, especially if it's not something you want to admit to, or, but let me tell you, it's uncomfortable if you don't admit to it.
Oh, absolutely. Like, I only told,
so uncomfortable.
Yeah, like, I only told my mom a few months ago, you know, I have to address anyone that I'm interested in that I have it. Well, when we become to that level, of course, it takes levels of trust, as I've talked about in a previous episode, that it takes a lot out of you, but it takes also a lot on them, too, to really build in the concept, because they have to understand the process. Yes, they don't have it, but they also go through the stigma, psychology, the process of that as well, so.
There's that constant fear that they're going to get it, and if they're not open or accepting to it, the possibility of it, then there could be a lot of issues.
Definitely. And to really, how to approach it, how to be open to telling it as well. Yeah, absolutely. There's so many different levels.
I understand that, like, not everyone is going to get a guy or a girl that's as accepting as my partner was. And, I mean, I had to tell him straight off. So it was kind of like, all right, went into the doctor, came out, gave him a call. He was in the middle of work, and it was just like, hey, this is the problem. And, like, yeah, I mean, the initial reaction is going to be a freak out, but, like, when you tell someone, know the facts as well, because they will put someone else at ease so incredibly so.
Absolutely. Yeah, knowing the facts, knowing where you stand as well is another important thing too. Knowing, yes, this is a lot for you to say, but to also make sure that they try to understand, because it takes a lot to receive that information as much as it is to say that information. So to really put that in perspective is really important.
It takes a lot. It does.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Absolutely. And what is, based off of telling your experiences, what is your best advice to give with someone who has herpes?
Be confident about it, and don't let someone tear you down because of it. You are probably, you're still the same person, that you were before you found out. And, no one should bring you down for something that may not necessarily have been your fault.
Mm-hmm.
Or, it's weird.
No, I admit it's weird, but definitely, don't bring yourself down. As Kate had said, don't bring them down, don't bring yourself down, because in a way you may, herpes, you never know who you may have got it from. And to really put that in perspective as well is that not many people do know where the source came from, but to also just to really not blame yourself for it, and just to not also blame a person that may have given it to you or the person who you're disclosing to. So.
And even if you don't have it, just don't make comments that are unnecessary about it, because you don't know who in the group has it and, how their actual feelings are about it.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah, don't make the joke unless you have it. Plain and simple.
And then just stick up for it.
Yeah, stick up for it too. Be the voice of reason. Be, I actually do have herpes, and I really take offense to that. So, I've done that before, so definitely, get them out of that. Break them out of that stigma phase. The stigma that you will feel, but also the stereotype that they see it as. We ain't got time for stereotypes on so many different levels.
Dear God. Nope.
Not at all. This has been a great chat, I'd say.
I'm really happy I finally got to do this with you.
Right? Me too. I'm glad I was able to be in person in North Carolina and to just really take in this conversation and to really, be with a good friend of mine that also knows that, we're both not alone in this. So It means a lot to me.
You've definitely been a rock through this experience for me, and I appreciate it beyond all belief, because I believe you were one of 3 people who knew, that day. So.
Well, always happy to be here for you.
And I'm always here for you. So.
Well, pardon me as I tear off here. Cheers.
Alright, so.
I thought that was good.
Yeah.
You could stop it or keep going.
Yeah, alright.
Right?
Stretch it out.